Every 4 years in the US, we choose a new president. There are over 300 million people living here, and somehow during each election cycle, we've decided that only 2 of the 300 million are fit to hold the presidency. What? And if you don't like either choice, tough luck. The reality is, however, that only 25% of Americans consider themselves Republican and 27% Democrat. That leaves 46%. So if the majority of Americans don't identify as being a Democrat or a Republican, how do those two political parties continue to win almost all elections on the national, state, and local levels? The answer is pretty simple, and it doesn't only have to do with the news or social media or lobbying. It's actually a result of a winner-take-all voting system. Of course, for the presidency, it's based on electoral votes, not the popular vote, but the same principle applies. Winner-take-all voting doesn't work because on the one hand, smaller parties with new ideas can't get enough votes to get a majority. The last successful third party in the US was the Republican Party in 1854. And on the other hand, many don't vote for third-party candidates because they might be shunned by all those people saying they're wasting their vote, like in 2000 when Ralph Nader's Green Party took votes from Al Gore. This, in theory, seems to cause politicians to be more moderate in their views in order to appeal to broader audiences. So what's the solution? It's something called ranked choice voting. Ranked choice voting simply means that you don't have to vote for one candidate. You can vote for several in order of your preference. For example, in the last presidential election cycle, there were 4 presidential candidates that were on almost every ballot in the US. Gary Johnson, Jill Stein, Hillary Clinton, and Donald Trump. Many people who supported Johnson or Stein over Clinton or Trump didn't vote for them. Why? Because they were afraid of a wasted vote. Ranked choice voting solves this by allowing you to vote in order of preference. If your beliefs align most closely with Jill Stein, you can choose to rank her as your first choice, followed by, let's say, Johnson, then Clinton, and then Trump. If Stein doesn't win, your vote would simply go to Johnson. If Johnson doesn't win, your vote would go to Clinton. The process repeats until one candidate wins a majority of the votes. This gives you the opportunity to vote based on your principles rather than choosing the lesser evil. And if we had this system, I think we might see that the American public is much more diverse in who they support than the current system shows. There are some arguments against this proposal, but not many. Some say that this would lead to an additional amount of confusion, which would discourage people from voting because of overwhelm. After all, there already is a very low level of voter turnout in the US. But I'd say that this would actually increase voter turnout because it would make people feel more empowered. There are some places in the world that already do this. Some of these places include Australia and New Zealand. And as far as countries that have their shit together, these are 2 great examples. What do you think? Would ranked choice voting help or hurt our democracy? Write your thoughts in the comment section below. And if you value this episode, please like, share, and subscribe. And of course, you're free not to. And if you'd like to connect with me, the best place to do that is to find me on Instagram at julesy.boolsy. Thanks again, and see you next time.